How's it going, folks? I'm Matt. This is Photosyntech. Welcome to another episode of the Gear Rant. Today, we're talking about why new growers in particular don't need a par meter. Let's get into it. A par meter is a device for measuring photosynthetic active radiation, PAR. Now, that's more of a definition of the spectrum that you're measuring. PPF, or photosynthetic photon flux, is the actual measurement that you're taking. And none of this really matters because I'm going to tell you why you don't really need to get a par meter today, at least if you're a new grower especially. It's one of those bright shiny toys that cost a hell of a lot of money, and while it's beneficial in the grow room, there's a few tricks and tips that I'm going to share with you today that you can use to at least stave off the need for one. Let's get into those. Now, I myself have wanted a par meter for a long time. Why? Well, my background is in testing and that sort of thing, electronics, and I've actually got quite a bit of a background in measuring light and doing that sort of thing using a lux meter. Now, a lux meter is meant for measuring lumens, and lumens are how our eyes see light. And it's kind of useless for plants, and that's why we want a par meter, because a par meter measures in light that the plant can see, essentially, in the light that's effective for the plant in a very specific range. Now, the one thing a par meter is not going to tell you, and this is why I don't think you necessarily need one, especially as a new grower, is how much light your particular plant needs. And this is a big thing, right? Because most plants, they're going to get up into the certain range, that higher PPF range, the 700, 800, 1000 PPF, and they're going to start experiencing light stress. And a par meter is not going to tell you if you've got light stress. A par meter is just going to tell you what the light level is at. And that's why you need to learn to read your plants, guys. And this is the most effective tool for telling if your plants are light stressed, and that's look at the leaves. Now, if you walk into your grow space and your leaves are sitting beautifully like this, like they're praying, as they're referred to, your plants are doing wonderful, and they're reaching for the light. They want more light. So in a circumstance like that, drop the light down a few inches, or if you've got the light dimmed down, turn the light up just a little bit until the leaves start to taco or bend away from the light. You don't need to spend $500 American or 800 Canadian or however much it is elsewhere to tell you that your light is at a level of X, because unless you're really trying to dial in and maximize an overall larger space, you can just look at the leaves. Yes, it's not immediate. Yes, it's not going to give you that instant response that you have this level of light intensity. Studying your leaves, I mean, it's going to take a few days. They do take time to react, and it's not instant. But guys, the biggest thing that you're going to learn is the skill on looking at your plants and telling if they're stressed or not. And that's the biggest takeaway that you can get here. Now, if you want to get a little bit more scientific, I do have a video. We'll put a link up there in the corner, and that talks about how to roughly determine the approximate photosynthetic photon flux density, PPFT, coming off your plants at a certain height based off the manufacturer's measurements and a tape measure. Guys, that's it. I'm Matt. This is Photosyntech. Don't buy a par meter. At least not yet. We out.